Just encourage others to take and take action yourself. Action is going to get results.
Real Estate Investing Profits presents Profit Masters with your host, world-renowned real estate coach and investor, Corey Boatwright. Now, strap in and get ready to learn elite wealth-building investment strategies taught by 6- and 7-figure house flipping masters as they reveal their best real estate investing profit secrets to you right now.
What is going on, potty people? This is Corey Boatwright. I am your host of Real Estate Investing Profit Masters and also the founder of Real Estate Investing Profits. I hope you're having a phenomenal, fun, productive, intentional day, right? It's easy to get busy and not be intentional, or get busy and not even be productive, right? So what we're doing today is really I'm excited about, man, because we have Mr. Joe Taylor on the interview today. And Joe is a fellow mastermind member, and the guy is crushing it out there in Portland, Oregon right now. His company is PDX Renovations, and he does, millions of dollars in wholesales. And I'm talking about this guy sometimes knocking down 6-figure wholesale fees. It isn't uncommon whatsoever. And he's going to talk about his strategy. He's going to talk about his kind of daily routine for success. And really what I love about Joe so much is he's so just laid back and just so matter of fact, right? And he is a great guy. I'm really getting, just blessed to know the guy and get to know him better in everything he does. The guy is a huge giver, so that's huge for me whenever I'm talking to people. It's interesting how much money can be made, and that's all exciting, but you can really start to determine, how much someone gives, right? How much they give is a huge factor I found for continued success. If you give, often you get, right? It's a law of reciprocity. But it's more than that. I think that whenever you start to get to a place in your business, in your life where things are just going incredible, right? You start to ask yourself, man, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? And I know in my own life, I've got to those questions many times, right? It's not just once. And what you come back to is the fact that someone else served you first. Someone else helped you get to where you are. Someone else gave you that opportunity. Someone else gave you an advantage. Someone else gave you a book. Someone else gave you a course. Someone gave you something. And in return, man, look what happened. You took sometimes lemons, you turned it into lemonade, right? You took some situations that weren't so great, you turned them into a great opportunity. So I love the fact that, givers are the bigger people I see that succeed in life. And Joe is an example of that. So I'm excited for you to check out this interview, and make sure you got pen and paper, take some notes, because you're going to love it. Also, make sure you download the Ultimate Real Estate Investing Quick Start Guide, and you can text to 38470 right now, 38470, the word profit, okay? 38470, text the word profit, and you will automatically have it downloaded to you. Also, if you're interested in real estate coaching, specifically wholesale coaching, I would love to talk with you more about where you are in your investing career right now. Have you never done your first deal? Are you doing, less than 10 deals? Are you doing over 10 deals and crushing? And I'd love to talk with you about where you want to go. So if that is something that interests you, go to coryscoaching.com, or you can go to simply realestateinvestingprofits.com/coaching application. I'd love to see if we're a good fit there. Make sure you watch the video that is on the front page. All right, here we go. Mr. Joe Taylor. Joe, my man, what's up?
How's it going?
What's going on, man? You're calling in from Portland?
Actually, Beaver Creek, Oregon, but yeah, we're right on the outskirts of Portland.
Beaver Creek, Oregon. Okay. So what's interesting, that's one of the hottest markets in the country right now.
Yeah, you definitely can't go against that. It's everything we're putting out there is blowing out the door quick.
Right.
Even all
Yeah.
of our remodels are the same way.
You know, it's interesting. You're in one of the mastermind groups that I'm in with the Collective Genius, and one of our also real good friends, Sean Terry, Kent Clothier, some other guys that you either work with or know. And then you and I met each other through the mastermind group, and I was just blown away by kind of how humble you are, which is awesome, man. Because usually it's someone at the level that you've reached, they kind of get this big head and everything else. But you aren't like that. And the other thing is that the way that you're doing these deals is not just your traditional way. You're real creative, on how you're able to get some of these stronger spreads. And before we start talking about some of these six-figure, mid six-figure, high six-figure spreads on wholesale flips, on wholesale deals, I like to just take a quick time on what got you involved with real estate investing in the beginning, and what are you focusing on right now? What's your expertise?
So from the beginning, you want the long short or the short version?
Well, whatever. How much time do you want to give me? It's fine.
I got half a day here, so the question is, do you?
By the way, before we get into it, I know you're in a spot right now where it's not at your beach house, right? But you're at a place where the internet's pretty rough, so it might be kind of fuzzy. If you're watching right now, apologize for that, but the audio should be crisp and clean.
Yeah. Unless you get my scraggly voice, that's going to be the only thing cracking here. So my area of expertise now is we do about 75% of our volume on wholesale fix and flips, and then we do 25 or 20% on rehab fix and flips, and then we do about 5 to 10% of our model on new build custom homes. Okay. So we're running all three of those. And shout out to Joe McCall. We just took on his lease option course. We're going to add that to the pipeline.
Nice.
So hopefully that'll increase some revenues this year as well.
Joe and I are just getting ready to launch a new podcast called the Real Estate Tech Show, which I'm super pumped about. He's a great guy. So you're going to add on some lease options?
Yeah, we're going to see if we can add 50 to 100 of those for the year onto the pipeline.
That's awesome. Wow. So you have a good-sized team that's set up right now, Joe?
We have. I run a virtual office. I have for quite a while now, so we don't have any office space, but we're getting to a point where I kind of need that central meeting spot. We meet right now once a week at a restaurant on Monday morning, and that's it. Everybody else works remotely. So I have 4 sales acquisition guys that are going out and tying up properties.
Wow.
I have 2 phone gals, one of them that kind of doubles as a transaction coordinator as well.
Okay.
I have 1 CEO who pretty much runs everything for me, and then I have a dispositions guy. And that's just the wholesale model.
That's just on the wholesale side.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. And so before we get into that, because I definitely want to dig deep into that, what was one of your big influences for investing? I want to find out kind of where you started this from.
So I was actually in the loan industry when I first got started in this. I was going to college doing mortgage loans. Great job if you could get into it back then. We were making like $6 to $10 grand a month as a college student.
Absolutely.
So I actually got teamed up with a guy that was fixing and flipping. I started underwriting all his buyers to get loans. That's kind of what sparked my interest. I'm like, well, forget these $6,000 and $10,000 checks, man. This guy's making 50 to 100 grand a deal rehabbing these houses. Let's drop out of college twice and go focus towards this.
What age? Give me some time frame on this. What time frame were you in college, and how old are you now?
I'm still 20, man. You know the rule.
Yeah, sure. You're celebrating your 21st, right?
I turned 40 in March, so 2 months ago.
You turned 40 in March?
43, yeah.
43. Okay, cool. Okay, and so you're in college. You know, when were you in college? You're 25, whatever, something like that.
I mean, it was just the first year of college. I was going to a junior college out here. So I think I took a year out of high school and then went back to college. So I was 19 to 20 range.
19 to 20. Okay.
Yep, doing loans, and life was great back then. You know, you could underwrite a loan and make 6%.
Right. So you're in your 90s in college. Yep. And so you're already at that point in the 90s already working with fix and flippers?
Yeah, well, I got teamed up just through the mortgage lending side of it. I just kind of ran across a guy who was looking for somebody to just help him qualify people for his fix and flip properties.
Right.
And it was more of a coincidence that we even parted paths. At that point, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm all about the easy loan business, so let's do this, So I came on with him. He ended up recruiting me from the mortgage broker I was at to go work. He was going to start his own, and he wanted me to come over and just underwrite everybody for him specifically. And that's when I started taking an interest in actually what he did. His name was Mike Bosky. He's actually still around, but he's out on the coastline now. He doesn't do much in Portland anymore, to my knowledge.
Interesting. Okay. So take me from Mike Bosky to whenever you started to, look on the other side of this and go, wow, you're making these, I'm making these $6,000 to $10,000. How do I get on the $50,000, $100,000 side? What was that transition like? Did you have like a breaking point where you're like, man, I gotta just stop what I'm doing and really focus completely on the other side? Or was it just this gradual transition over into doing the flips?
So it was actually, Mike gave me 2 opportunities within 3 months to buy some houses. And at that point, as a broke college kid, spending everything we made, I had no opportunity to take anything down. I couldn't buy it. And so he gave me this one that's right off of an address here in Colgate Street in Portland. I still, to this day, drive by this house 2 or 3 times a week. And it haunts me that I was never able to take advantage of this buy because he was giving it to me at like $80,000. He got it for like 50. He was going to sell it to me for 80. It was worth 200 back then, in the 90s. Now that house is probably somewhere in the mid 500s, And I had no way to buy it. I had no way to fix it up. And I'm like, okay, this guy's making a killing. I got to get into this side. And that's when the light bulb turned on for me. And at that point, I just became a sponge sitting around watching him do his thing. And it wasn't like he taught me a whole lot, but just being around him got me interested in the industry. I started doing all my diligence on what documents he was using and all that stuff while I'm running side by side with doing his loans. What was it? My first house, I think we bought the first house in 1996.
Wow.
I bought my first house on a owner short sale. I bought it directly from an owner. I think I bought it for $115 and I got $30,000 back at closing.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was back when you had a pulse, you could get a loan days,
Right. Yeah. Fog of mirror. Right.
Stated income, stated assets, and bought that, turned around and fixed that one up a little bit, and sold it a year later, and made like another 40 or 50 grand, and life was good, and that's what really got me into the game.
Okay, so tell me then, kind of fast forward now to where you are today. Obviously, you've got 75% wholesale business, 20% fix and flip business. Or 25% fix and flip business, 5% new build or so with these lease options. That's going to, probably play more in the wholesaling side. Where are you now? What is working? I mean, obviously, let's just say this. There's not a lot of people I know that can run as much as you do the way that you do it, right? So what is one of your, what we call the profit master investing strategies, right? Where what's really doing well for you right now that you can share that someone can implement right away? And maybe it's not, obviously in Portland or in Oregon, but it's some strategy, it's working really, really well for you.
Really I've had success comes from a lot of consistency. I mean, we got a lot of specialty little niche lists that we hit, but a lot of people, if they're not in tune to this now, land development deals is where we're making our big checks, and that's pretty much, there's a couple of guys that I do some mentorship across the U.S. and we've converted them over to that same style of list, and they're getting bigger margins off those than they are on wholesale deals right now, just because of the lack of inventory across the United States.
Interesting, man. So walk me through one of those deals, just really quickly. How, if I'm a wholesaler, how do I even find these kind of new build or land acquisition deals that you're talking about?
So the way I always get guys involved with it, like I said, first you got to start with the end in mind, reverse engineer it. You got to figure out, most of these builders that are building stuff, they're either sourcing their own inventory or they're relying on realtors to source their own inventory.
Right.
And most realtors that are sourcing inventory for builders, they don't have a marketing budget like we do as wholesalers,
Right.
Especially the guys that do big volume. I mean, we're dumping 50,000 mail pieces a week right now.
Yeah,
You know,
jeez. Yeah,
there's
that's
not-
strong. So you're dropping 200,000 a month?
50,000 mail pieces a week is what we're hitting right now.
So 200,000 a month.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that is strong.
And-
Those are postcards or letters or everything in between.
It's all postcards, and we just started ramping that up. We weren't doing it from the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year, we were doing 1,000 a week, but we ramped that up because we know that right now until October is the busy season for us up here. We track those metrics, and so we're just putting that net out as wide as we can on everything we can get our hands around right now.
That's super smart. So 200. So what's your conversion rate on a postcard right now? Is it under 1%?
Yeah, I don't even think we're at 0.75%.
Wow. And even at that number, because your wholesale fees are so strong, or so your profits are so strong, so you'll spend $60,000-$70,000 a month on just postcards, and that will bring in a times 3 or times 5.
Yeah, we're right around 4 to 5.
About 4 or 5.
Yep.
That's strong, man. Wow.
Our biggest thing though is I don't know if a lot of the rest of the U.S. is like this, but we're in a weird market where none of our deals we lock up at the appointment. Very rarely do we ever get that deal where we're out there on the appointment and we get to lock it up right there on the spot.
Okay.
All of our deals, and I mean all of them, like 98 to 99% of them come from a 6 to 12 touch follow up over the next 2 months, 3 months. So we're just trying to get those initial leads into the database so we can continue that follow-up and get them when they're ready.
Okay, so walk me through that just quickly. So you do your mailer, right? You do these 200,000 mailers a month that hit the people, right? And then out of that 200,000 mailers, postcards, how many appointments do you think that you set? Well, obviously, how many appointments do you think you get on average?
We're booking between 60 and 70 leads a week, which my gal has a 60% appointment booking ratio on those. So each of my sales guys is dropping between 15 to 20 appointments a week right now.
Wow, that's doing 4 a day.
3 to 4 a day.
3 or 4 a day, yeah. Interesting. Out of 40 appointments a week, how many contracts will you bring in, Joe?
We're getting between 2 and 4 contracts a week, and on a good week, my top sales guy is bringing in 5 contracts by himself a week. So it's really hit and miss. Like we'll have a couple weeks where we got goose eggs, so we got none. But then the next week, or the week after, he'll come in with 4 or 5 all by himself.
Wow. Okay.
So we're on pace right now to hit 150. Our ultimate goal in 2017 was 152 transactions. We should blow that away.
That's awesome, man. So you're already on track to do over that this year?
Yeah, I think we already got like 68 in the pipeline.
That's awesome. Closed. And those are closed deals?
The pipeline for us is closed, under contract and ready to close.
Under contract, ready to close. Okay, so some title issues, whatever, but they're still in there.
Yeah, our average contract to close time is like 14 days. So once we get it tied up, then we book it out 30 days with the seller, and then we close them with our investors that we're selling them to in 14 days, and then the investor rides them out for the other 14 days.
All right. So whenever you get them under contract, then what I hear you telling me is in 14 days you'll sell it over to the investor. So it's sold. Whenever you get the deal under contract for you, you wholesale it in 14 days.
Yeah.
That's your average.
Yeah.
That's really good. And on your cash numbers, are these? I mean, what's the average? Is the average acquisition contract? So is it under 300,000?
Our contract prices?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say most of our purchase prices range from under 350. Under 350. Mm-hmm.
And those you have cash buyers all day long because they're in that market. Obviously, a 250 to 350 cash deal is no big deal for some of these investors, right? Because they have that money.
Yeah, we got a buyer's list that's about 9,000 strong right now, so it goes out pretty quick. Portland's a weird market. There's not a lot of guys that actually have true cash. They all leverage into hard money. So,
where would you say that you built your cash buyer list the fastest? What are some of the 1 or 2 resources that that if you didn't use those resources, you wouldn't have that list?
Tough question. We've been developing that since 2003. So, we got a lot of stuff off of Craigslist. We've utilized the meetup group scenario. We've actually been using Facebook and LinkedIn. A great one that we found so far is one of the biggest things that actually made our margins go even bigger was bringing on a full-time dispositions guy to recruit new buyers.
Interesting.
One of the niches that he went out and found recently, and again, I've been in this business almost 20 years now. He went out and he started meeting with the local hard money lenders and asking them for their hard money list of buyers, and they're giving it to them.
And they're giving it to them.
We're happy to hand it over because there's not enough deals in Portland to keep all their clients happy, so we're offering to give them the deals, and these guys are just turning over their list to us.
That's great, man. So, have you ever, and this may seem obvious or not, but have you ever went and found a list of some of your other wholesalers in your market, and they show sold properties, right? Sold. And then you can go and look at that property and see who bought it and go back and find out who their buyers are. Do you do any kind of scouring or recon like that?
So I'm kind of a data vulture in that aspect. I love to know what my competition is paying for stuff and who they're selling it to.
Right.
Only because we track their margins as well. So yes. I know, if the other wholesaler in my area sells it to some guy that I don't have on my list, I'll track that guy's margin, and then I'll make my disposition guy reach out to him. We got about 12,000 people on a list still that we have to track down from that kind of a scenario.
That's great, man. Yeah. And I know you and I both know Richter. I mean, Richter's also doing some pretty powerful things, for data scientists, to be able to track some of that too. So I really think it's going to be pretty exciting to see where data goes, particularly with investing. So that's cool, man. Okay. Well,
yeah, I actually was on the phone with Richter about a month and a half ago, and I told him, I said, dude, you're missing out on a niche here. He's like, what's that? I go, you need to figure out a way to get these buyers' phone numbers for guys like me to call them.
I know.
He sent me a text the other day. He's like, you got to check out this thing that I just figured out.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's what.
Well, I was on the phone with him just the other day, and that's exactly what we went through. So the same text. So yeah, I think you're going to be pretty blown away by what he's put together. It is, it's pretty off the chain. So that's cool. Well, I think that's good. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we have the good show notes here, and make sure that if you are just watching right now, that you pay attention to, we'll have here on the show notes, depending on where you're watching from, you can click on the link and go to the page on our podcast for Real Estate Investing Profits /podcast. And you'll be able to see this episode with Joe today. So I'll have everything that we discussed there on the page. We'll also have this podcast transcribed as well. So, Joe, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I got you.
So, what is one of your bigger real estate challenges that you recently had to go through? I know one time you were telling me about this deal that almost took you, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. What can you describe, like, one of your big challenges?
Oh man, there's always so many when you're running an operation big, but you want one that the seller didn't decide to try to back out on, or do you want something like a day-to-day operations problem?
Actually both, if you have enough time. I think people love learning from what you had a challenge with, and then how you got through it.
So out here, our reputation is real important to us, and one of the main things that we push is, we try to strive and get reviews, because that helps us exceed past our competition. Like, we get guys constantly calling us because of our reputation and the reviews that are publicly out there versus our competitor, and we get deals for $20,000 to $40,000 less on average than a lot of our competitors, because we have so many positive reviews and so little negative. There's a couple negatives, but they're not really negatives. And so that's one of our biggest issues, and trying to maintain that reputation and the PR that goes with that is a constant battle.
How did you build up that reputation? Did you have Better Business Bureau with one part? I mean, what are some things that helped you?
We do Google is a big one. Better Business Bureau is another one. We have some on Yelp. We pretty much hit a bunch of different ones. We'll kind of prod the sellers to leave a review. We've actually ended up writing it into our contract that they're obligated to give us a review now.
Okay.
As far as the transaction, for them to fulfill their end of it, as long as the transaction goes great, we'll reach out to them.
Interesting. Okay.
The people that have problems, or they decide they could have got a better price. I mean, we won't necessarily reach out to them and ask them for it. If they give us one, great. We always respond to all the reviews, good or bad. So we got to constantly, mitigate the damages there, because that's the other thing. When you put yourself out there, you got to be prepared to deal with some kind of negativity, because it will eventually hit you.
Sure.
And just because you get one or two, it is not the end of the world. So keep that in mind. But
sure.
You just got to respectfully and politely, tackle it as you can. And it comes back to, but one of the big things that we deal with a lot out here is an older crowd. Obviously, I'm really sensitive about the senior citizen crowd, but that's who we get a lot of our inventory from, as it is probably so in a lot of the other states. But one of the biggest challenges is about a year and a half ago, we got into a contract with a lady. She wanted it at $350, or she was going to sell us this house at $350. And at the time, it was probably a $450 house, with some work. Well, she signed a contract with us, and within an hour and a half of signing it, she calls us back and tries to cancel it. Huh. So I reached out to her, and I tried to find out why she's wanting to cancel, and she hems and haws about everything under the sun, like she doesn't have the right to sell it, it's her dad's house. Then it was she didn't want to move, and this is all in the same conversation.
Sure.
All over the board with excuse after excuse after excuse, but not one of them had to do with price. And so I tried to let her know that, look, we're going to move forward with the transaction. We're not going to let her out of the contract. We understand that, and we understand how Oregon law works, and I tried to educate her on it and get her to basically walk through the scenario.
Sure.
Well, the phone call that she made before I talked to her was to my sales guy, and she told him that she had another investor come in and offer her more money for it. And she wanted, she didn't want to sell to us. But when she talked to me, she made it sound like my guy was a bad guy and he pressured her into this contract. And it was every excuse under the sun except for price.
Sure.
Right. And she just came to me and said, look, it was the price, we would have renegotiated and no problem. But because she's now trying to make my guys and my company look bad.
Sure.
I gotta dig my heels in and go to work. We renegotiated it at $380, so we gave her $30,000 more. But the market's gone like this in a year and a half, so I've collected a year and a half of appreciation on this house now. And it's probably a $600,000 house at this point in time.
Wow.
So I actually got to walk it yesterday for the first time. And, I went in there. I didn't go in there as me, because obviously she doesn't like the owner of the company because he's doing all this bad stuff in her eyes. But I went in there as just one of my employees, and she's all happy as can be. She's excited. She's finally got her plans on moving on, and she had a couple bad things to say about how she could have got more money out of it selling it to this other party, but so you just got to stick with it, and you keep that nose to the grind and pounding through, and that's one of the biggest struggles, is trying to get as battling that. Is she going to now go back and challenge that reputation with the Better Business Bureau scenario because all this stuff happened?
Right.
But because she feels like she's shorted money because some other investor, and we don't know who it was, we've asked for that information, but she's refused to give it because obviously they're interfering with our contract, and I would go after them too for, interfering with our contract. I'd definitely let them know that it's not tolerated. So that's one of the biggest challenges that we've probably had, other than some of the day-to-day stuff. I'm not a corporate guy. I've never been involved in a corporate workforce. So structuring my business with the right people in place was always a challenge for me. I've always been a solo entrepreneur. I've had business partnerships where they've blown up because guys steal money from me, stuff like that. So I'm kind of a control freak in that manner. So giving that factor, those little control ups to more and more people and putting myself at that exposure again has always been a challenge for me. So there's kind of a few of them there for you.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So I think it's one thing that we forget about is, how important your reputation is to other people.
right? And whenever they're making a decision to work with you or someone else, there is this kind of we send out an ugly card and a pretty card. So some people respond to big brand marketing where they feel like there's this kind of this bigger corporate feel to it, or some people respond they want to work with just the individual person that's just out there that's looking for a deal and want to work with them. So we hit both sides of it. And do you respond? When you market, do you market as big brand, or do you market as kind of the local guys that want to help?
It depends on which time we're hitting them. So we'll hit a list from a real general brand. It literally just says Joey on the postcard. It's from Joey, and then so we hit them that individual, and Joey's part of the company. So when they call in, they immediately know that he's with us.
Gotcha.
And we, our phone gal qualifies the lead, and she actually emails them out a credibility kit right out of the gate. That's also a way that we track their email addresses from them.
So you say, how about we send you a credibility kit? In order to send it to them, you have to get their email address.
Yep.
Okay.
She's good with that. And then by the time she's done with that phone call, 60% of them at least, she's got an appointment set, and we're sending them a picture, kind of like the window guy that's going to come out into your house and change your car window. You got a picture of the sales guy who's your appointment's going to be with on Tuesday at 9 o'clock, and you got his cell phone number, and the credibility kit's also attached in that email as well. And it's just, it's 3 extra touches that we're doing that the competition isn't. And right out of the gate, you can see the professionalism just shining through and rising to the top.
I love that.
Yeah, it's been really good for us.
That's great.
I can't take all the credit for that. I got the credibility idea from Sean.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to Sean. I think we've improved it over what he's got, but
Oh yeah. So that's good. Well, I love that. I love just being able to add that extra professional touch, right? That makes you why someone should work with you. Whether that's a credibility kit, whether that's sending something in the mail to them, a cookie or a piece, some type of gift. There's all kinds of ways that you can make your mark, your signature on people working with you. Our company's name's House Kings, and we have folks, here in the Bible Belt, we had folks that said, I want to work with you because the name King was in the name, right? I mean, I was just out of nowhere. I didn't think about that when we were creating that whole kind of brand, but because of people connecting King and and Bible and God together, that gave us a great great way to be able to kind of work with someone in a different manner. So I think that how you present yourself is extremely important. But it doesn't have to be big brand. It can just be you, the local person, but it just needs to be in a way that's professionalism, regardless whether it's big brand or individual. Yeah. So what is a great lesson that you've learned to get to where you are today, Joe?
Oh man, the greatest thing was you just have to believe it and you can achieve it, honestly. I mean, for me, that's been kind of the mindset I've always had. I don't look at yesterday. I don't look at the past at all. I'm focused on tomorrow, and I'm really not even in today, if that makes any sense to you. The mindset is always looking forward today and forward, and it's never looking at the mistakes we made in the past. And so, one of the biggest things that I ever did in my business or anything is I pre-plan stuff out. And like this year, I wrote my, a January letter. I'm sure you know what that is.
Sure.
Sean taught me about that January letter. And, I didn't really believe in it, but let's go through the motions the first time. And man, the first time I did it, it was bam. And now this year I've dialed it in so much. I got specific vacation dates, how many times I'm going to go, if I'm taking the kids, the family, where I'm going, and it's like, it just all starts coming true. So I implemented a lot of that in all the aspects of business and personal. It's just amazing how things will just start laying out for you when the universe aligns with you.
It's true, man. Absolutely. It's powerful because you're basically, future pacing, right? To where you already are and how it feels to be there. Right, all the things you've accomplished and everything, and now what has got to happen in order to get to that place, right? And setting goals like that is much different because now you're at a place where you've achieved it, and what does that feel like? And then being able to write that out as if it's already happened is an extremely powerful way to actually set things in motions, not only in just mentally, but also, you can set up structure where now that you're hitting those benchmarks, like you said, each time, to where now this month you're going this vacation, this, because it's a part of that plan that you set up that you already had together at the end of the year, looking back at what that year was like and what happened and all the ways that you grew and you had, made more deals together. So yeah, I really love that. The concept, it's a concept of the January letter, not just a January letter in itself, is, how it feels whenever you actually achieve something and looking at it through that lens as opposed to not achieving it yet. Right.
Yeah. And I got to throw this out there too. A lot of my goals in one of my earlier years was monetary. It was, the cars, the houses and all that crap. And honestly, none of that even plays into the equation these days. That's all stuff that's just, it doesn't even matter, It's
awesome, man. I know you're one of the huge givers in the mastermind. I mean, when anybody says, do you want to donate to this? You're always the biggest giver. And man, that's what a great opportunity and a blessing to be able to do that. Right. And then the other thing is just the reason why behind it. So to be able to affect and make an impact in other people's lives and other things that help people compared to buying a new car, a new house, all that other stuff. It's just so much more gratifying to you when you get to a place where that's what matters to you more, right? So I love that. That's one of the greatest things I love about your energy and about just kind of who you are, man, is you are a giver. And that's one thing people know about you. Is that something that's intentional that you started out that way, or is it just something that's progressed to get to where you are?
I've always had a soft spot for veterans and kids, and they all the veterans put their life on the line and give us what we have available to us today and allow us to do what we do. And kids are our future. And then I broke it and had some kids, and so the kid thing even became more sentimental.
Right.
And in 2013, I lost my dad, and he was stripped out of my life, and so it's just kind of really evolved into this. I don't know that I can ever do enough. I mean, I know there's guys in there that go down to Haiti every year and they, spend their whole entire summer doing all that goodness. I'm not at that level, and it's just, I'm just hoping that I can make some impact somewhere in somebody's life to where it'll change their outcome for years, maybe even generations of their family bloodline,
If you had to start all over again, what would you change? What is some advice for someone new starting out?
I would never have any more business partners. And when I mean business partners, it's full-on partners that are involved in every aspect of your current day business.
So you mean part of the LLC, actually, right? So you'd have people you're working with, but you wouldn't have anybody in your LLC that is making a decision with you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I've had 3 different partnerships blow up. Basically, I brought bodies in that I just needed help with manpower.
Right.
Again, you come from a corporate world. I didn't understand the role of employees, and I've had lots of people steal from me along the way, and had to recreate the wheel 4 times. Obviously, God's plan was to recreate it better and better and better.
Right.
Little did I know when it was happening and I was going through it. But I felt like that set me back a lot of years in my life fighting those fights with these guys.
Yeah.
At one point, I just didn't even. I let a guy walk with about $2 million, and I just left and just decided not even to chase the hassle.
Jeez.
Just walk, write it off, and move on. I didn't need the negativity. I didn't need the fight, and I was destined to do better things.
Wow.
So that's the first thing I would recommend. And the second thing is, man, I would have hired a coach a lot sooner if I knew they were out there. So that made a huge difference in my world.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this. One of the questions I have, but we can lead into it now. What is a coach? What kind of difference has a coach made to your life?
Coach they really just take the shortcut. Use the shortcut method. If you want to get from A to Z and you don't want to deal with and learn B, C, and all the rest of them through there, that shortcut is just hiring that coach. Honestly, I paid a guy $50,000 to sit with him for 2 days. And in one day, he taught me everything I needed to know. The second day was more of a, hey, man, how you doing? We really realized we didn't have a lot to talk about after that. He gave me everything I needed. And it was more, talking about him and his personal stuff. And I mean, phenomenal guy. You know him. He's out there. He's live. He's large.
Yeah.
And he's just a great human being, but he's a giver. And, what he gave me was able to just night and day difference in 6 months. We completely turned the mystery around how all this could work into the reality of how it does work.
Right.
And now we're scaling it to a different level. It's just crazy how that coaching just took off. And I wish I could have found it 15 years ago.
Wow. That's a great testimony for coaching, man. So and a lot of folks that come on here, they continue to say how it was such a big difference in their lives. And, I work with a lot of investors, and coach them. And one of the greater satisfactions is whenever someone does things that you're teaching them and they get results from it. And because, how long it would have took them to learn that, right? It may be a year or 2 years. And then for you to be able to share like all these things that you're a part of and that in your world, and you can give them just the very, very best that works, right? That is such a huge value that I think many people miss for sure.
Yeah, it was just like I was talking to you about. Joe McCall. I know what I'm doing in this real estate game. I could go and put this lease option course together.
Sure.
But I paid McCall his coaching fee, give me all the shortcuts, and we're literally 2 weeks after paying him, we literally have everything we need, and we're implementing the marketing and everything right now. It just saved me 6 to 9 months of setup.
It's great.
I mean, it's just like, it's a no-brainer. It's the absolute best shortcut method you can do. Absolutely. And there's lots of guys out there that are happy to give you the trade secrets,
Right. Well, that's good, man. And I can't agree with you more. I mean, just having that shortcut is a big deal. And here's the other thing. You're going to spend the money, right? But either you're going to spend it or you can invest it, right? Because spending, you don't get a return, right? Investing, you do get a return, right? And so, whether you're going to spend it on mistakes and everything else, and you might learn through some of those things, but if you invest it, then you know that what the potential is that's going to come back to you, because you're working with someone that either does something that you want to learn how to do and just want to learn it faster, right? Or, it's just something that that if you had the time to put into it, you would, but you just want to get there faster. So I just think that, I couldn't agree with you more on coaching, man.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's one of the reasons I'm in CG and some of these other mastermind groups is that you just get those shortcuts from the guys that know what they're doing.
What is one of your favorite motivational business quotes?
Oh, I don't know who said it, but it's always just kind of stuck in my head. It's see it, believe it, and achieve it.
See it, believe it, and achieve it. Yeah, that's good. So, and there's a book, there's a movie recently that was out called Unbroken. Right? Did you see the previews of this? Where there was a guy that was running a quarter mile, I believe it was, or a half mile. He ran the fastest one ever. But before he did that, in his kind of younger age, he was very discouraging to himself. He'd say, I'm not as fast. He had another brother. He said, I'm not as fast as you, and I'm not as good as you. And his brother would say, if you can make it, if you can take it, you can make it. If you can take it, you can make it. And I think a lot of what you're saying there, man, has a lot to do with putting the onus back on you, not creating excuses, right? But actually going through there and doing what's required to get a result.
Yeah, there's nothing that, nothing in this world is perfect. Everybody looks at your business, my business, somebody else's, and they think, wow, look what he's got. It must all be perfect. We all know there's holes everywhere.
Right.
The outsiders don't get to see those holes, right? We struggle with those holes. We know they exist, but that's just how life is.
Right.
Everybody knows their own faults. Just get past it. Move on. Nothing's perfect. Make the best of it. That's called life, and move on.
Right. Yeah. No crying over spilled milk, man. I can tell it. You're all about forward momentum, man. I think it's so important. I bet your family, everyone in your kids, I bet they're also just pushing forward, right? Not worrying about if they made this mistake or something, but how they can do better and how they can push forward. Is that kind of how you how you kind of create the family?
Yeah, the kids are 4 and 6, so they're making lots of mistakes all the time. Their mistakes are easily forgivable when they're that young and cute, right?
Right. So what's your favorite book? Do you have a book that you've read that you really enjoy and one that's changed your life?
I just finished, and I don't read a lot of books. I listen to them on audio. Yeah. So I just finished Mindset. If you haven't got that one, it's a really good one. It outlines the difference between the fixed mindset and the growth mindset.
Nice.
And it covers a lot of different scenarios, and it goes over like how one will think in a fixed mindset and how one in a growth mindset would think. And just to open your eyes up to the difference on how different people would think based on their mindset ability is amazing.
What did you learn from that particularly?
One of it, I realized that a lot of people that are working for me or employed by me are all in that fixed mindset mentality.
Okay.
But for me, that helped me reach out to them and figure out how they process things a little bit better. Because I'm a growth mindset mentality, and so that was just a huge difference for me in the people aspect that are currently working for me.
I love that.
Yeah, being able to get them to step up their comfort level to something outside of it and move them forward in life. I got my sales guys now. He's coming to me. I got 2 of them that are trying to go out and do their self-generated lead thing and get more, because they get bigger cuts if they bring their own deals.
Sure.
But I'm busy running them week to week with all my appointments that they don't have time. They're finally getting that growth mentality and learning what's available to them that, the rest of the general public doesn't necessarily have because they're not part of the organization.
Would you recommend that this is a book that, like during a Monday morning meeting or with the team, that you should go through together? A book that you think it would help if you went through this together as a team? Yeah,
it'll definitely open up their minds to a lot of that stuff. They might not even realize what kind of mindset they have.
Sure.
A lot of us think that we're growth mindseted, but the way that our minds process information, it shows that we're fixed.
I'm going to buy that right now. I'm going to buy that book right when you get off here, man, because I think that's very, very important. That's a great ad, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's one of your favorite mobile apps? Are you kind of tech guy? Do you like to use the mobile apps?
Yeah, let me get back to one other one that I want to give you too. There's one I just started called Never Split the Difference.
Oh yeah, that's a great book. I've seen that. That's a great negotiation book.
I just started that. I'm about 1 chapter in so far, so I can't wait to get through that one. It's got me all pumped too.
Oh, it's awesome, man. He's from the FBI. The FBI negotiates. It's so good. He gives all these different techniques of how you negotiate someone that's like going to blow themselves up and ransom situation, all that. Brad Chandler recommended that book, and that's where I got that recommendation from. That's an awesome book. So, do you get 8 hours of sleep every night?
5 to 6, maybe.
That's okay. Do you have a morning routine?
Yeah, the most part it all revolves around kids. I got a 4 and a 6-year-old, so it's my morning routine is try to get up an hour before them, get a cup of coffee in, then go wake them up after me and mom have had about 30 minutes to ourselves, and then let the havoc begin with them. They're girls, so we go through the changing clothes 6 or 7 times in the morning. The socks don't fit right. Different skirt. Am I hitting home there?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's awesome.
So the morning routine pretty much stops when we drop them out of school. Then the drive back to the office, which is my home, that's when the work day starts. So
that's when you start putting on the armor.
Yeah.
What are you most grateful for?
Most grateful for? Man, it's just some of the opportunities. I live a pretty modest life, but I would have to say it's been really great. The stuff that God's allowed me, opportunities to step in my life and learning experiences that I've gone through. I guess I wouldn't really give those up for anything. My past is what's made me who I am today, and I'm just looking forward to being able to pass everything I am off to my kids and my family. My mom's included in that. My brother's included in that. Mm-hmm. Just being able to do all that stuff and start giving back to others is what I'm most grateful. Because I didn't grow up from a point of having money. I mean, I literally got into this business almost 2 decades ago with nothing. I didn't have any money to get into the business. I didn't have any money to take down the first 2 great opportunities that Mike gave me. Had to pass on them, and they haunt me to this day. I drive by them every single week. But, just being able to do some of these things, I travel. Now, if I want to, I can do whatever I need to do on my own time. I write my own rules, and that, for me, that's what I'm most grateful for. Is I'm fortunate enough not to be out there grinding it away 40 hours a week at a job that I don't like so many people out there.
Right.
And I get to sit here in my split flops in cold, rainy, nasty Oregon, and I'm in my office, and I don't have to go do anything today. I mean, it's so great when you look at it from that aspect,
Right. You don't have anybody saying when you have to stop, when you have to go, when you have to be anywhere. I know, man. It's freedom is a beautiful thing, right? But there's a cost to it, and there's a sacrifice involved. And I think because you've willing to get through the crappy parts of. One of my mentors told me that everyone has to eat a crap sandwich, and when you eat it, right, don't nibble. Get through it as fast as you possibly can, right? So that's one of the testaments of you, man, that you're able to get through things, and then you learn from that, and then you're continue to go forward with it, and then you see success from it. So. And then your attitude, which is killer, just keeping humble is so encouraging too. So if you had to summarize it, why do you do what you do? When you get up out of bed in the morning, you put your feet to the ground. Why do you get up in the morning again to do it?
Brutally honest, other than the lifestyle it allows me, it's my addiction. It's my high-stakes gambling addiction is really what it comes down to.
I love that, man. No one's ever said that, so that's a completely unique answer. But can you unpack it just a little bit? What do you mean by your addiction?
Imagine going to a casino, and you can drop as much money as you want anytime on a hand of cards, right? Or a roll of the dice, or a roll of the roulette table, whatever the case is. You never know what you're going to get in this industry, man. You never know what phone call is going to ring. You never know what you're going to get a price for. You never know what you're going to rehab it for and what it's going to sell for on the market. You're constantly testing the market. It's all those highs and lows from the start of that deal all the way to the time you sell it to that final seller, and they call you back because your electrician didn't do something. It's the ups and the downs of the industry is what I live for. It's an addiction. I can't quit it. It's in the veins,
So the river card is whenever some caller's calling and they have this great deal, and you don't know if that's going to be a $500,000 deal or a $100,000 or a $50,000 deal, right?
Yeah, it's like Christmas. You don't know what's in the presents, right?
Right. Right.
You don't know what the house holds. You don't know what the end of the deal check is.
Right.
It's constantly pushing barriers and boundaries all the time. It's this house can we make $50,000 wholesale fee, or can we stretch it to 60? Did I lose you again?
No, I'm here. No, it's good.
The video stopped. I didn't know a lot.
Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to be on here, man. Those are some awesome answers. I know that we had some messed up things on the video, but the audio, we'll get it cleaned up as much as we can. But I know that it's hard to get internet out there where you are right now. So I'd even taken the time to do the interview. I really, really appreciate it. What can we do to serve you? Like what can we do to help you? That's one of the big things that I think is big about this particular show is I want other people to be able to see if they can help you. Like if maybe they're a wholesaler in Portland or in Beaver Creek, I guess, or do they need to go to a meetup to you? I mean, what are you looking for right now? How can we serve you? How can we get in touch with you if you want that, or how can we serve you?
So we're getting ready to start a meetup group, and I'll have it out there on meetup.com when we do it. I actually have bought 4 failed meetup groups. I got about 800 members, and I'm going to convert all over when I start mine.
Okay.
So people will be able to reach out there. It's a good way to get yours started, right? I know.
Wait. So you bought 4 different groups?
Yeah, we've had 4 groups blow through or start up, and the organizers end up quitting.
So you contacted them and bought their accounts?
Well, they if you're a member of the group, they actually send you a chance. It gives you a chance to step up as the organizer. What that means is you got to pay $76 a year for it, right?
Right.
So I went and stroked the checks on 4 different groups. I got about 800 members in those 4 different groups. It all has to do with real estate of some sort. It's either, cash flow. One's a real estate mastermind group. One's learn how to wholesale, kind of already there.
Right.
And so I just, we're starting that path. We're a little slow out here in the Northwest, but so anyway, we haven't exactly implemented it yet. We're probably going to kick it off next month in June. It's going to be me and my sales guys that's starting it out, and then my sales guys will take it over, and they're just going to have guys hopefully come out and try to JV deals with them. So, but if I got any, the audience do anything, it's just encourage others to take take action yourself. Action's going to get results, man. It's not going to get you the great perfecto results that everybody dreams about, but it's going to get you results, which is going to create you more opportunities, which is going to get you more educated. And that's the only way you're going to do and move forward in this world, if you will, is by just taking some kind of action, no matter what it is.
That's awesome.
So that encourage others, because the world's a bad enough place, man. It doesn't need any more negativity.
Doesn't need more negativity. Joe, thank you for taking the time to be on here. Really appreciate it. Again, I'm going to clean up the audio as best as we can, and I'll have everything in the show notes. So I just wanted to acknowledge you for just continuing to rock it, man, and be an encouragement to other people. And when people, the way you answer questions and the way that you position yourself, it's a little different, and it's really something I think everyone can learn from. You're not seeing things the same exact way as everyone else, and that gives you that edge. There is a book that you should read if you haven't read this already or listened to it, Joe. It's called The Slight Edge. It's called The Slight Edge. And that book is incredible, man. It gives you that's what you are. You provide that slight edge, which is giving you, and then there's 2 racehorses, right? The one that wins is only usually a nose from the other one, right? So, I think that you're tapping into that either maybe unknowingly, but that's a great book to check out. So thanks again for taking the time to be on here, man.
Hey, no problem, man. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, they can hit me up on Facebook or 503-902 Joe T.
Joe T.
T, yeah.
Joe T, I love it. You got the vanity number and everything.
Yeah, so
that's awesome, Joe. All right, man. Well, thanks. Remember, be a servant, and we'll be on the next Real Estate Investing Profit Masters podcast. I'll bring some incredible guests, just like Mr. Joe Taylor. Thanks again, Joe.
See you in June.
All right, man. See ya. Bye.
Hi, this is Corey Boatwright, and I have a quick question for you. What is the fastest way to reach your goals? Is it to work harder, work smarter, use system and processes, or hire rock star employees? What about just making more money? Actually, it's none of that. Those things are a byproduct of the one success component that every real estate investor or business owner that I know all have in common. And the answer is clarity. Complete laser focus on what you want, why you want it, and what are you willing to do to get it. So where do you find clarity? By hiring a coach and mentor. Now, could you reach the level of success that you want to achieve by doing this all on your own? The Lone Ranger. Well, maybe, but do you think it would take you double or even triple the time to achieve it compared to hiring a coach and mentor to help guide your path, provide proven instruction with a tailored blueprint that you could follow for building a real estate business that supports your lifestyle and helps you reach your financial and personal goals? Absolutely. Here's the fact. Time isn't recyclable. So I would like to ask you to make good use of it and extend a personal invitation for you to book a phone coaching strategy session by going to callwithcorey.com. That's callwithcorey, Corey spelled CORY.com. I'm going to ask you a few quick questions on that page, and we're going to go over and see how we can make sure that your business is on path to reach the goals that you want this year. So go to callwithcory.com, that's CORY, and book your phone coaching strategy session today. Remember, be a servant, and I'll see you on there.
You've been listening to another Real Estate Investing Profits Master Podcast series. To receive your free real estate book, Down and Dirty, Ultimate Real Estate Investing Quick Start Guide, how to quit your job to start flipping houses in 90 days or less, head online and go to realestateinvestingprofits.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Estate Investing Profits. Thanks again for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode.